Yeah, it's official. It's official now. There's something wrong with the Neverwinter engine. There's something going on every single hour, or every single hour there are two crashes within every single hour. I thought it was just going to be one crash within 1 hour, but there are two crashes within every single hour. Now, I thought it was basically the people who made this game allow you to only record every 30 minutes, but then that's stupid. That doesn't apply to the stuff that happens in other games. So that can't be the issue. It has to be their servers. The servers have a bug, or there's an issue with the servers and there's a problem. So that's two crashes within an hour. Not one crash within an hour, two crashes. So in order for me to proceed forward with this video, I'm going to have to get rid of everything in my overflow bag as fast as I possibly can. As fast as I possibly can. Don't waste any more time, and then go straight into the mission. Don't worry about selling anything or see what the price of anything. Just go into mission. Because apparently they can't get their shit together even years later. So from a standpoint of this game, I haven't even gotten to gameplay yet, and it's now starting to get on my nerves. So if you're going to play Neverwinter, you're going to have a calm mind. You're going to have to enjoy the game for what it is, and certain aspects of the game you're just going to have to deal with. So the game was originally at a 3 for me, and I had it at a 2.5 for me. I still haven't gotten into gameplay of the game, which, if I'll be honest, I'll give it a 1 for that. The gameplay of this game is good. That I know for sure. So now I would say it's at a 3.5. The story of this game is pretty good too. Better than the story of most free-to-play games, to be honest with you. So that's pretty good as well. So I could rack it up to about a 4.5. But that's where things will get a little different, or a little janky. Because I know for a fact, once this game gets to the 4.5, there's a top 10 rating with regards to anything. And this leans closely towards an average to below average game. Now, I believe this is a slightly above average game. That means it takes a couple more points for me to get there. So, right now, I'm at, if I want to evaluate things fast and get to where I need to get to fast, I would say this game, as a total, is a 4.5 right now. When it comes to the details, I'll have to see the details of the new updates, which means I'll have to look at everything specifically. And if the game keeps crashing, I won't be able to do so. So I'm going to try my best to get past its faults. That's why the game, in my opinion, overall, based on past experience and now, is at a total of 4.5. With regards to the new updates and new things included, and how the game looks currently, is at a 2.5. But we'll see where things go. I'm going to get rid of everything I don't need. I'm going to keep it moving. As fast as I can. Because we're going to be here for a while. Or I'm going to be here for a while doing this inventory bullshit. Because they cannot get their shit together and make their servers correct. Still the same shit from last year, so sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm pretty sure they're trying to wheeze that out. Overflow bag, come on. Transfer. 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 I'll tell you what though. If I get another crash before I even get rid of everything out of my overflow bag, whatever I was going to say with regards to Neverwinter, the overall gaming experience with regards to the game, that ain't gonna happen. I'm just gonna ignore it and move on to the next game that allows me to play for more than 30 minutes before a crash. Now, the game itself, there's nothing wrong with the game itself. It's the engine that they're using. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not just gonna just assume that it's the fault of the person who's actually playing the game or their network. I'm going to assume it's a company issue. It'll be a pretty big assumption. In fact, it's probably not an assumption at all when the game crashes inside the game itself. That's not a server thing from the connection from your connection, upload speed and so on towards their servers. As regards to the engine that they're using in their servers, connection to those who have low upload speed and those who have fast upload speed, which means they don't give a shit. But we'll see. I've never seen this item before. They're both green. They're both wheat. I could improve on it, but it will probably go up to 900 most. Maybe just 1,000 before it's completely useless. So there's no point in keeping it. Close. Close with no cigar. I got better stuff on. Alright, so now we're gonna go back to overflow bag to see what we have left in the overflow bag. We only have 2 items to transfer. Okay, did I select? Yeah, 1 more item to transfer. And that's it for the overflow bag. We can now proceed forward in the game, thank God. A horse? Are you kidding me? Oh, I gotta take it. Oh, weak ass people as well. Healer, dog, blah blah blah. I guess I could take the con artist. I already have him. Wayward Wizard, I already got that one. I guess I'll take that one. As for the horse, you kiss my ass. You know, I'll decide what I'll do with it later. Alright, so everything is organized, everything isn't organized, but everything is pulled out of the overflow bag. Can now move forward the game, free up some space. See if all my spaces are evened out. All spaces are filled. Okay. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 spaces. Alright. So whatever I purchase thereafter. Well, actually, do I need this? No, I don't. Alright, so that's that. 19 spaces. 19 to 20 spaces. And now I can proceed forward with speaking to Sergeant Knox. So whatever is going on with the engine is an issue. So now we can finally proceed forward with the game. So as you can see, there is something going on with the engine. The loading of certain things on the map bugs out every now and again. I don't think they were ever able to fully fix that issue. So now we could do training day, and accept training day, and finally be able to start the damn freaking mission that we were supposed to start from the beginning. Now maybe the issue why it crashed every 30 minutes is because it only allows, maybe YouTube only allows for certain games to only broadcast gameplay within the 30-minute marker. Now, if that's the case for this, that means the people who made this game gave that limitation or set that limitation, or the limitations for this game wasn't set up that a person could play beyond a certain point. I don't see why that's the issue, but if that's the issue, then that's another thing that they fucked up on. So I'm not going to say that's completely the issue. So now, within our training marker, we should now have Sergeant Knox's little training day thing. And we can select that and proceed forward and see where that is. But first, let's see if we did get something within our activities for our capabilities, our status, like we could improve on, which we can now select because it's all been given back to us as default. So this is probably going to be an issue that I'm going to have to deal with, and I'll have to bear in mind that whatever decision I make may affect my overall playstyle with regards to this character. So first is about strength. I want as much strength as I possibly can. What the hell? Okay, so this has changed as well. Originally you used to select them all in a horizontal manner. Now you can't select them in the horizontal manner. What you can do, apparently, you could increase the amount from plus. How would you increase the amount in plus? Decrease strength. Increase strength. Press triangle. No. Can I increase strength? Okay, so I have a default +1 for this and default +1 for this. And for level 3s, I guess I could. Okay, I see how that goes. Constitution, I don't want that. So I have no choice. Decrease Constitution. Can I go back? What the hell? Oh yeah, that's the whole point. Alright, so I'll have to get out of this and do the whole damn thing again. Alright, so let's try again. First the 1. And we don't want Constitution, we want Dexterity, because the Brawler's speed. And the Brawler's ability to dodge bullets or not bullets, but powers, is incredibly necessary. Cha abilities also important. Charisma measures the force of personality, persuasiveness, and leadership. Now, personality, persuasive, and leadership. Do I need this for Brawler? Nah. Wisdom. No, that's mostly for wizards. Intelligence. Describe how well a character learns. Okay, so I'll need this. Obviously, as my first two primaries for 3, I don't need it. I'll always need more strength than anything else. And it's up to me if I want to give the character 1 intelligence, more dexterity. Constitution. Constitution represents a character's health, stamina, and vitality force. So I need more constitution, I need more strength, I need speed and dexterity, and I need some intel. One's constitution. Alright, so I need constitution. Alright, so this is all set. Once again, I need more strength, need more dexterity, 2 constitution, 4 strength, 3 dexterity, 2 constitution, 4 dexterity, more strength. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need more constitution, 1 strength, and so if I have 4 constitutions and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do I need more? If I have more speed, higher speed, my health won't matter as much. But if I have a decent amount of health, regardless of speed, it will help out as well. If I'm a shit player, I might need more constitution than dexterity. Depending on the enemy types. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's decent balance. And some intel is needed, some wisdom is needed, some charge is needed, but he's mostly a mad brawler, so he doesn't need that much. So Constitution represents health, stamina, and vitality. So I have good stamina and good vitality, lots of dexterity, and eye coordination, agility, reflexes, and balance. So this is what's needed. Alright, so I'll confirm this. I believe this is... Can I do more? This is fine. Powers. Those are set already. And tears, I believe. I can't do any more tears. And I don't have a guild, so I can't do that. And of course this is necessary, the mount is necessary, and this is necessary. Forsaken, huh? Let's see, Forsaken. The problem with these guilds is that well, you can always leave a guild, I guess. Let's look it up. Forsaken. Forsaken Legion. Forsaken Lords. So level 1. Forsaken Legion. Forsaken Lords. Forsaken. So all the Forsaken people are pretty much lower level. But that's typical for people who just started playing the game. Forsaken Realm. Forsaken Realm. I mean, there's no. Make it easy on myself. Forsaken Forsaken Reapers. Well, I guess it's fine. The guild level is 20. They invited me here. I guess it's good. Alright, so moving forward. Mission. Yes, we now have to do the mission. Oh, hopefully once it gets past that hour, it's not a crash. So now I go onto my map, and then we're going to see it's telling me to go here towards the door to do my training day. Hopefully there's not a lot of crashes. And usually when I say crashes, it's looking at internet speed, but in this case it's actually the people who created the server themselves. So that's their fault. That's their problem. Alright, let's see what you guys say. Well, let's do this first.
Need a horse? Armored bear? Gelatinous cube. Good man, that's...
This is weird. Speak to the mount merchant and claim a mount. Equip your horse. Complete the combat training in the training room. This is all from beginning of first day stuff. I don't know what the hell's going on. I mean, the game should have realized a long time ago that beaten the beginning of the game when I first started. And this is not the beginning. This is way past. But who knows? Let's try this again. Maybe there wasn't a training day before. Maybe they updated with a training day now, which there wasn't before. And I believe that's also something that's very important with regards to this game, that there's now a training day, which there wasn't before. So that's good, and I accept that. So I would say still at a 4.6, including training day, which they should have done a long time ago. Doesn't excuse bad things. But then again, you know, based on the budget, maybe they couldn't do it. But I doubt that's the problem. So maybe a 4.6, 4.7. I'll say 4.7.
Welcome to your own personal demi-plate. You look like the type to get out of the way of an incoming strike, rather than risk a lethal blow.
Yeah, training is very important.
I bet. If a foe can't hit you, you can't lose. When you're dodging, you'll want to keep an eye on your stamina. Each time you find work, you gain combat advantage when you successfully flank your foe. You can achieve this by putting your foe in between you and an ally. If you can manage this, you will both deal more damage with your strikes. Note the ring on the ground when you target your foe. Watch it as it changes color when you have moved into the proper position. Then, you are ready. Strike the flank.
Now, what they should have included in this training is the actual indication that you're locked onto the character. Now, certain games don't have lock on, which is fine, but moving back and forth to show that you're actually in the range of the character doesn't mean that you're actually in the range of hitting the character. You're just in the range of seeing the character that's been locked on. A brawler's speed and capabilities of his weapon doesn't have a range arc to hit an enemy based on distance. So that's based on your power setup. But then again, brawler's not supposed to have range. Brawler's supposed to do high damage. So arc range is 240. Where this range is melee, but it doesn't give the indication of range. Range and radius is 8. So this has large range and radius. And this one, which I have one, has melee range in the arc of 420 or 220. No, 240. And this one doesn't have range. It has actually it does have range. It has a magnitude of 140. And this one has a magnitude of 55 but an arc of 240, which is a very small range. This has a 140 range. And this one has a magnitude of 60 range. And this one has a magnitude of 40 range. So this range is bad. This range is better. This range is average. And this range is best. So that's why this one is on. That's why this one is on. And this one would be on if it wasn't for the cooldown effect. And the fact that it doesn't have arc of 140. So magnitude represents arc range, and plus this has duration. So your barbarian always have this issue of having range. He needs to be within the range to actually hit the character. So he has the least range of all the characters.
This next technique is a bit different. You've recently gained a mount of your own. Your mounts
Oh yeah, that's a capability of your mount. The ability to summon it in battle to do an attack. How you know is because it has a cooldown timer, and that cooldown timer will be indicated within your menu at the bottom. See, it's not going to show now because one, you're not in battle, and this is training, and it's not going to allow you to do it. So once you've successfully done it, you cannot recharge. And that recharge represents the actual image of your mount itself, the bear at the bottom. And it will show once it's highlighted. Once it's highlighted, you press up on your same button that you do for your mount, rather than just pressing the up button, you hold down on that up button to see that indication pop up on the screen of where you're aiming it towards, and then your mount will show up and then do a grenade or a cannon launcher attack. Whereas you just press the up button, you'll just mount your mount. You just get on top of your mount. Whereas you hold that up button in mission, that indication from your point of view to where you want your mount to attack will pop up.
This adventuring thing really comes easily to you.
See, if you hold down and aim on it, it'll happen, and it'll come, and he'll aim towards the indication of where that mount was. Now what I did is a super attack. Once that center ability happens in the very center, it starts to glow within your menu at the bottom. It starts to glow up, that center looking diamond shape thing. Well, it's not really diamond. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, sextagonal shape glows up. You then execute it by pressing your ultimate attack. Now your ultimate attack is represented by two dailies. One, which you will have active. Your daily, that's L1 and triangle button. And then there's a L1 and square button. And those will be your dailies attack. And that's what he just requested that you do. Once your glowing sextagonal indicator or diamond shows up and starts to glow, you have the ability to press L1 and triangle or L1 and square. That will do an ultimate attack for heavy amount of hit point damage, and it has incredible magnitude, and it has knockdown effects and other residual effects. And its cooldown is decent, and it has decent range as well. Your deals usually have further range than your standard abilities and has higher damage than any of your other abilities, but the cooldown timer towards when you could do it again is solely a last resort type of thing. If you want to kill your enemy quick so you can move on to the next enemy. And you could choose to do it, or you could choose to keep it and not execute the ability. It's kind of like something you would do to end fights quickly, but it's not necessarily to do if you don't have to do it. You can keep it and save it for someone much tougher.
Well done indeed. That's about all I can teach you for now. When next we meet, I expect you to be even stronger.
I'll increase the volume of the overall game. And hopefully there won't be any more crashes. So I might continue this tomorrow. I'll probably have to continue this tomorrow. This is not the type of game that you could just breeze through in one explanation. And if I'm giving it points, I have to evaluate it fairly and evenly.
Protector's Enclave needs your help. Ha! Yuri! I'm sure you're ready for...
Now that that's done, I can now go back to my quest journal that's stated in the campaign for Sergeant Knox continues to guide you towards Sergeant Knox and blah 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 blah. Alright, Neverwinter Graveyard. Where was it? Training day. When was training day? Strange. Display options. Training day was in the chasm. Yeah. So it was this one. It was underneath Graveyard. Alright, so I still haven't finished this. And this was way back into the beginning of the game. So that just goes to show you, like, damn man. Like they really organize things to a level that to show you that you have not completed certain things within the past. So it's hard for you to know where you're going to be in the future. Um, so in order to organize this more properly for a current update, they really fixed things from the past that were an issue. That you can tell that you had certain things that you had to do that needed to be done. Whereas now you have things that could be done and needed to be done that shows you that there's an indicator that they're incomplete and that you have to complete them, which is a good thing. And I gave the game a 1.5 for that, but beyond that, I'm not going beyond that for that. The game as a total is still at a 4.5 to me, and it'll have to be something, or 4.7 to me. I got it up to 4.7 because they included the training day, which wasn't really difficult, but it allows you to keep learning certain things within the training simulator, and that's very good. That's a good 2 points for that. So it's like a 4.7. It hasn't actually hit that 5 points for me. That's a good game. And I guess you could say if you're looking at the overall layout of the game, like this whole menu screen here is like a giant book, and it goes back and forth. So when you press L2 and R2, it's like you're going from one page of a book to the next page of a book. But that's probably one of the main issues I have with regards to the game itself. When you're going from one page of the book to another page of the book, it doesn't look like you're actually going from a page of a book to another page of a book. It actually just look like you're going from one indication window from actually button mash that actually loads the actual page itself, rather than the book page actually flips that it's going from one page. And maybe that's another animation that they thought would take too long or interrupt everything within the game. So they skipped that process. But I think that's something that took away from the game itself. Um, so to the overall look of the game, overall fluid movement of L1, L2, R2, um, L2, and movement of characters using the buttons, an indication of every buttons. That is something that was already stated before. I gave it points for that. But I guess with regards to the image of how the game looks, or the text of the image of the text, how the menu is set up, how things are placed in vertical order rather than they could have been placed in horizontal order of journal quiz, adventure, and campaign. It could have been placed horizontally rather than vertical like this, and you go left and right. It could have been a pain for people to see things from a horizontal motion rather than a vertical motion, and they just use the L1 and R1 to move back and forth, as well as it could have been a pain to just press the center D-pad and to actually find out where things are on the center D-pad. Could have been more janky. It was more fluid that way. So I guess from that standpoint, in and of itself, I could give it like a decent 2 points for that. But that's been something that's been part of the game from the beginning. So from an overall evaluation of the game, I'll give it an extra 2 points for that itself. And because they've done slight improvements, but those improvements should have been done a long time ago. So I'll say uh, It's at a 4.9 for me. Still not at a 5 yet. Still not a 5 yet. I would say a 5 would be something that has to do with the world itself. The size of the world, the things that are placed in the world, the image of the world, the color of the world, um, the character setup of the world, where things are placed, where characters are placed, how you can go upstairs, how you can look up objects, basically set layouts of the map itself and the certain characters and NPCs that are set within the maps and the books and the buildings and where certain things are placed, the images of certain characters, uh, uh, and actual texture on scrolls and on walls and on books, tables that are on buildings, on bricks and on vases, on the map and on the floor and the lighting effects. Those are things that I could say with regards to the color management of the game has been done well. And I'll give it a full point for that in and of itself because the color management of this game to its level under a D&D franchise description of D&D games that are within digital content playable online, whether by PC or console, is very good. Especially the, the fabric to the level of the engine that's being used, to the level of the type of character models that's being used. It's decent enough and it's acceptable enough. It's not the best. There are greater designs within character modeling that you see in more AAA games. And I would say this game's AAA, but as a standard D&D online game, it's good and it's fair. So I'll give that game a full 1. A full 1 because it actually got down one of the most interesting things of the game and acceptable of the game itself is to flesh out the entire world, the level of the world, the floors, the colors, the design, the setup of the world, everything within the world, the placement of objects, and those things take a lot of time, as well as coloring things after you set them in place. So the color artist, as well as the person that map out each of these things where they got to be placed, are decently done as a whole. So the game gets a full 1 for design in and of itself. So now I'm at a 5.7. And that's where the game gets a little bit above the 5 route, simply because of the artwork of the world itself is well done, as well as the placement of things in with regards to the world itself and the art of the world itself. As regards to lighting effects, the lighting effects are also very accurately done and considered. Look at the lighting effects of this chandelier right here. This ancient chandelier using the candles. Now, based on the light source coming from all angles of the chandelier, it's in a 360-degree motion. So the light from that chandelier will show always upwards, and whatever residual effects of the light from the opposite direction will show the lower half of that chandelier moving down. So that's where you see this here. So that's decent as well as the movement of the chandelier on the wall itself, right here, as you can see right here. So there were deep consideration towards where color movement and with regards to lighting movement, with regards to color and regards to space within the distance from this towards the actual placement of the chandelier from the top and from the chandelier to the wall itself. Not a lot of people would consider these things, but I actually look at it as a sign that you're actually paying attention to detail and you're willfully acknowledging the need for the importance of reality within the world itself. And I believe that's very important. The color, the shading, and the placement of things are also with regards to not just the color itself, but the lighting effects is very important with regards to the world itself. Is it more important than the design and the color of the world, the lighting effects? Probably not. but does it help the realism of the world? Yes. So whereas I would give the whole color and placement of things within the world for 1, I'll give the whole placement and lighting effects of everything 0.5. So where I would have this game at a 5.7 right now, I'll say uh 6.3. I was thinking about giving it 0.5 more, but now I'm thinking about it. Lighting effects really help the realism of this world more than anything. Without the lighting effects of this world, mixture of darks versus lights, this world would look pretty much stale, plain, and an average setup game. That's very polygon-esque, quick, nicely designed things, but not nicely effects. It's like looking at a Caravaggio painting without the deep lighting effects and without the deep shadow versus lighting effects. This is how I see things. If you don't have that nice little Caravaggio feel to your actual art, the light versus dark, it won't feel as realistic. Now, if you don't want to go down that route, you want to go down a more Goyan's route, then you have to use a different type of lighting effects, but that's not how reality works. Reality, when you're in an enclosed area and there's huge lighting effects versus an enclosed area, whether it's night or morning, or in a separate secluded area, it's more light versus dark. So it's more those tones more than anything, and lighting effects plays a huge part of gaming and the gaming world when it comes to open world where you're outside or open world where you're in enclosed dark areas like dungeons and everything. That gives the more effect and more realism of the effect and more interesting of character of those effects. So is it more important than the artistic style of the game? Not so much. Is it close? Very close, yes. So it wouldn't get a full 1 from me, but it'll get a full 6 points from me. So I would say yes. This game is a 6.3 at the moment, in my opinion. Simply before lighting effects and other inclusions as well. Um, when it comes to missions, the missions will determine everything moving forward. Now, to be completely honest, I think when I go into a mission, regardless of what mission it is, if I'm having fun within the game, which I probably would, I could get this game up to a full 1. Right now, I think I should do a mission rather than do his little side quest and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quest, and I'm going to choose a daily quest. Either a random dungeon quest and collect the astral diamonds for it, or an epic quest. Either one. But maybe I can't select all of them at the same time. Maybe I have to just select one. I was pretty sure in the past you could select multiples. Reaper levels. Reaper's challenge. Great. Maybe I should just leave all. Alright, so I'll leave all. And I'll select the ones I want. And the item level required for these are item level 25 up. I'm item level 35. Should be fine here. Do this. Well, maybe for random advanced dungeons, item level 30. I don't think I'm ready for that yet. I think my island level is at 35, but here's the thing. Even if your island level is at 35 and advanced dungeon says 30, that 35 doesn't mean jack when it comes to advanced dungeon that's 30. Like, you really need to actually be at an item level 40 to do advanced dungeon that's item level 30. It's just that simple, right? It would seem that you don't need it, but you would really be dragging your teammates back by not having an item level of 40 in an advanced dungeon. It really helps to just have that extra 5,000 more. So we'll do this, we'll do that skirmish, we'll enter that skirmish, and we'll see how the mission goes. Alright, so that was that. And that's how basically the missions that go within the game. Certain dungeons are harder than that, certain others are easier than that. Most, as you get past level 75, are going to be harder than that. And the standard is always to be have your actual character sheet of the weapons you're using, gives the type of effect that you need. The combat rating, the defense, and everything you need. Not just towards your character's survivability or to do damage as well as to take hits, but also in towards your character's status that you have here. And once you have your character status, it will show you based on everything of your character status. So your weapon has to coincide with kind of your status of your dexterity and your constitution as well. So whatever weapon you have, I have to have strength enough capabilities to add towards your strength, your constitution, and dexterity. So if you have more crit severity, more critical chance, with a strength build, you'll be able to hit your enemies faster and get more crits out than you normally would. And if you have good defense, and no matter how strong the enemy is, if you have on good constitution, you are able to survive the attack. Now in that battle, you can see that my health fell below 35%. Probably was at 25%. But even at 25%, I was still managed to survive that item level 20 pretty much fairly easy because not only did I have a constitution of 4 on, but I had strength dexterity to return healing based on damage attacks. And I had more than enough dexterity within my arsenal to be able to dodge critical fatal hits that would cause me to die. So with a decent amount of constitution and a high amount of dexterity, you'll be able to survive and be able to deal out the amount of damage. Because most of the times you cannot depend on your party members to give you the amount of benefits that you need for your survivability. So you have to also think about yourself at the same time. So this is pretty much an evenly balanced, I would say an evenly balanced barbarian build. I would say this is the preferred barbarian build with power level settings that would give you a decent amount of health, survivability, and dodge capabilities to take critical hits on, to take high damage hits on, or to get out of the way enough to eat or drink a healing potion to make you survive just long enough. Um, and item level enemies that are level 20 to 25 should be no problem. The problem comes within the levels once you hit item level enemies that are 30 and 35. That's when the problem comes. You could beat item level enemies that are 20 and 25. But if they have one-shot attacks, you have to know about the one-shot attacks, or you have to know about the actual ambush attack. And once you get past that, they're pretty much done if they're not item levels 30 or 35. But once you hit level 30 or 35 enemies, even average enemies will be hitting you hard, and even above average enemies will be hitting you very hard, even with the setup. So you really have to have a decent team in your party, but you still will be able to survive item level 30 enemies pretty fairly as long as they don't gang up on you. So if you take them one at a time on 30 enemies, you'll be able to beat them by yourself at one at a time or even two at a time. But once you have like 3 or 4 enemies are item level 30 coming at you all at once, you're pretty much done sitting. But if you have 2 enemies that are item level 30, well, you're item level 30, you could take them. It's just that becomes a problem when you have 3 or more enemies that come at you that are item level 30. It's not a good idea. That's why it's always when you're doing a mission, if that mission says I'm level 30 or above and you're on level 35, you're still going to have difficulty fighting those enemies once they go past 2 or more enemies coming towards you because they're going to be hitting hard regardless if it's just